Hello, everyone, and welcome to MT4Professional. My name is Randy Lindsay. I'm your host today. We're going to be talking about trading strategies using the MT4Professional scanner. Thank you for joining us today. MT4Professional and Resilient Traders are not investment advisors, so we cannot give you specific trade advice. We're not broker-dealers, so we cannot tell you what to buy or what to sell. But what we can do is teach and train you on how to use our remarkable software on the live edge of the market. Futures, stocks, Forex, options, cryptocurrencies have a large potential for reward, but they also have a large potential for risk. You need to be aware of the risks involved and be willing to accept them in order to trade or invest in any of these markets. Past performance is not indicative of future results, so make sure that you get advice from a competent financial advisor before you start trading or investing in any of these markets. And never trade in a live account until you have first proven that you can successfully and consistently trade in a simulated account. That's where you practice and get your strategies down, but then you move into the real markets. That's when your mind game gets in. So you need to work on that as well. As I said, I'm Randy Lindsay, your trade coach today and operations director at MT4Professional. Claudio Cardinale is our product development director and all things technology guru. We are here to teach you a little bit about MT4Professional and our remarkable scanner today. But first, we're going to talk about some strategies that you can use with the platform to help you to get an edge. Now, everybody has a strategy. I'm sure you've got a strategy. The best part about a scanner is that you can implement your strategy within the scanner so that it can look for your specific trade setup using your own criteria. That's a good scanner. Some scanners just don't do that, but let's get into that a little bit later. We're going to talk about trading strategies. We're going to talk about scanners, what MT4Professional is. I'll give you a live demonstration of our platform, and I'll make a very special offer once we get to the end of the presentation. And of course, throughout today's presentation, will be available for questions and answers. So let's get right into it. There are many popular strategies. Most of these are what most of our clients are already using. The first one is EMA and price, where you're looking at the interaction of price with an exponential moving average. That's just like pure price action. You're just looking at the trades and the trends relative to a fixed point. I say fixed, but relative to price it's moving. So an EMA and price is probably the most popular one. MACD and signal has been around forever. It's a moving average convergence divergence indicator that looks at a moving average relative to the MACD, and we call that a signal. So looking at the interaction between the two gives us a buy or sell indication. Moving average crossovers, where you have 1, 2, or 3 pairs of moving averages that cross relative to each other, giving you either bullish or bearish sentiment or actual entry and exit criteria. Or you can do a combination of any of those, where you've got an entry signal, which is based on EMA and a MACD, and you've got your trend, which is implemented by your moving average cross, and you've got exit signals that peak either high or lows, overbought, oversold, relative strength index indications. And there's tons more that we can go through. I don't have time for all of them, but I'll integrate a lot of these into today's presentation. And remember, you can ask questions along the way, or if you have a specific strategy that I can demonstrate, then let me know ahead of time. So let's run a quick poll. Claudio, whatever poll you have ready to go, just go ahead and launch that. That would be great. Usually looking at what do you think a market scanner can benefit you by. Oh, there you go. Which configuration that I just talked about would be most interesting to you? The EMA and price, the MACD and signal, the alligator, I didn't talk about that one, but alligator is a popular strategy using 3 different moving averages, a little bit longer term trading. I'm more of a pure price action guy myself. We'll wait until a certain percentage of our people in class respond, and then we'll close the poll and share the results with you. The longer you take to respond, the longer the poll will be. So please respond quickly. I appreciate it. All right. So looks like most people are using or are most interested in a MACD and signal. Moving average crossovers, those are very common. The looks like the trend line is another category that was put in, and the EMA price. So we'll go ahead and look at that. All right. So what is a market scanner and what is MT4Professional? So let's look at the first. If you look at the MT4 platform, you have 50 different Forex pairs, 20 CFDs, 9 different timeframes. Putting those together, that's more than 630 combinations of trade setups that you have to be checking for 24/7. Do you really think you're able to do that manually? Can you go through that many potential opportunities and not miss any? I dare say you're missing a lot of opportunities. Well, today, trading on different instruments is a must to make trading profitable. And in fact, trading uncorrelated instruments is a way to remove uncertainty on any instrument while diversifying your portfolio. So if you're just a one-trick pony, you're just looking at one particular pair, sure, you're always going to be catching every trade, but unless you're awake 24/7 or a lot of the instruments just have downtimes and you don't have anything to do during that time. So you have multiple instruments to help diversify your trades and to get you into trades, because there's always a trend somewhere and you want to be able to find it. So market scanner is a perfect solution for trading and for this setup. So what is it and how does it work? Well, market scanner in general is an automatic tool that allows you to scan the entire market at a glance for any symbol, any time frame, based on your own custom rules and any indicators that you use, whether they're standard or custom. So it's not a signal provider per se, but it's a tool that allows you to analyze all the strategies that you want using the indicators that you want and the time frames that they're based on. Over on the right, I've got an example set up using some Forex symbols on the left. If I could have an output like this that kind of showed me symbols relative to their output of my strategy, whether it's bullish or bearish, and whatever time frame I'm using, be it a 1 minute, a 5 minute, 1 hour, 5 hour, it doesn't matter. Whatever time frame I'm interested in, I want to see if the output of my strategy is going to get me long or short in a trade. This example shows the cross of 2 moving averages. So we're looking for a bullish cross. What would turn my cell green would be a cross of a 15 over a 30. A bearish cross, which would turn the cell red, would be a cross of the 15 under the 30. So the fast moving under the slow gives me the red, and the fast moving over the slow gives me the green. I can see setups like the euro pound or the dollar being very strong. Those are bullish setups. The rest of them are generally bearish. The other ones are getting ready to transition, because if you have a faster time frame that is one color, the slower time frame is another, then that tells you that there's a transition in process and you might be getting ready for a trade opportunity. Here's another example using EMA and price, where you're looking at a bunch of symbols and a layout of the charts. And here we're looking at 3 different time frames for a bunch of different symbols. So if a market scanner is doing what it's supposed to be doing, i.e., it's looking for a trade setup based upon your own rules and strategies, then it does all the work. And you can focus on the more important things like managing your trade or getting your mindset where it belongs. Okay, so once the setup is made, the strategy should and the scanner should be able to alert you when the conditions are met for a trade entry or exit. So the examples you see here for the EMA and price, whenever you see the price greater than the exponential moving average, you should see a green cell. And when you see it less than the moving average, you should see a red cell showing a bearish intent. So when they are fully aligned, coming from a bullish or bearish setup, you should see a solid window of either green or red pairs, showing that's a strong trend in that direction. Now, you notice I probably used multiple time frames. So what's the deal with multiple time frames? Well, did you know that if you use and trade with multiple time frames, that you have a higher probability of a profitable trade? Well, this is due to correlation. It's just one of the advantages of using multiple time frame technical analysis. If you look at the charts over on the right, you can see on the top a longer time frame 4-hour envelope. You have a 1-hour chart, and these are just price over time, and this is a 15-minute. So notice the 15-minute, how choppy and noisy it is relative to the 4-hour chart. So you see there's lots of corrections that occurred during that period. Well, if during all of these corrections, you were only taking the trades that were aligned with the longer term trend, then the probability of your trade ending in profit would be higher. And the risk that you would have in the trade would be less because you're trading in the direction of the overall trend. If, however, you're trading against the overall trend, then your risk is going to go up and your probability of profitable end goes down. So the idea is if you are going to trade and fade the trend, make sure you keep your profit targets short. But if you're going to trade with the trend, then you can go ahead and let the profits roll, making sure that you have your exits coming up as the price goes. And so you can always weather these dips knowing that the longer term trend will be intact. So a market scanner should be able to search for setups that are based upon our rules and verified by multiple time frames. So if it does that, that would be extremely valuable. Here's an example. If you look at a 4-hour relative to a daily and weekly setup, you can see the crosshairs on the screen show the specific point where I have a setup. You can see price has crossed over the 15-period EMA. You can see that the histogram MACD has gone bullish by crossing over the red signal line. You can also see the relative strength has come from a position of oversold and is trending with strength. It means it's got a positive slope. Those are the things I'm looking for a strong entry. That would be a specific entry point. To verify that, then I need to look at the longer time frame. Is the longer time frame in a bullish signal setup? Yes, it is. Is the longer time frame coming in with relative strength? Yes, it is. So that verifies that my setup on the second time frame is valid. And the third time frame validation, I'm looking specifically at a rising relative strength. Now, I might not be looking for rising price because if you're looking at the longer time frame, then it's going to be really, really slow if you're waiting for that next weekly bar to update. But if I can see that relative strength is rising, then that's all I need to see to validate that this trade is a 1, 2, 3 time frame confirmation, and I can take this trade. ending with over 300 pips of profit on the trade setup that you see there. All identified by the trade strategy that you see here. So by taking trades in harmony with the longer time frame, I get lower risk trade opportunities, higher probability trades. That's a powerful combination for any trader, and it shows the importance of using multiple time frames in your trading. A market scanner should be using multiple time frame technical analysis, and it is an extremely valuable tool if it does it automatically. The problem that we ran into as professional traders is that we could not find any scanners that were out there on the MT4 or MT5 platform that met our criteria. They were usually too complex to configure, which meant you had to be a programmer in order to use it. They were unstable, or maybe a single tool that really didn't integrate well with the whole system, or they were incompatible with a lot of different indicators. There were a lot of other issues, but our solution to this was to go ahead and make our own. And that's how MT4Professional was born. For our own daily trading, we created MT4Professional to scan through our own strategies and to find trade setups that met our criteria. Now, after all the work, it's the #1 market scanner on MT4 and MT5. It's a tool that allows you to instantly scan the entire market for setups that match your unique rules and criteria. And when you find a good setup, MT4Professional allows you to enhance that with technical analysis, enabling multiple time frame analysis, which is not generally easy to do on MT4 or MT5. So let's get right into the demonstration. So I'm going to go ahead and launch my MT4 platform, get it going. There we go. Let me go down here to one of my profiles. And I want to show you a few things. Now, this is standard MT4. You can see the general layout and the sections, and over here on the left are your indicators and price charts and quotes and stuff. So I have 3 time frames set up: a 15-minute, a 30-minute, and an hourly chart showing I'm using multiple time frames. But how do you analyze a chart using multiple time frames on 3 charts if you only have standard MT4? Generally, the only way to do that is to middle click your mouse to get your crosshair and then look for a setup where you have a potential opportunity. This right here gives me a potential setup, where this gives me the actual entry. So I like the setup here, and I want to see how well it does on the other time frames. So looking at this, I have to look over at the time and date on the bottom, so that when I move over to this one, I'm guessing it's this one right here, but I have to look to verify and make sure that it is. And then same thing over on this chart here, I have to go and make sure that I'm in the right place. See, so now I forgot it already. So this is on the 19th at 2:30. This is the 2:33. Yeah, so it's this bar right here. So I do have 2 time frame confirmation on this setup using the rules. I do have rising volume coming into it. So this looks like a good setup for me to look for a potential short in the market. That's the idea behind it. But notice when I try to expand it even more, I don't get the windows expanding automatically. I have to physically drag these out. Also, my charts just don't align automatically either. And if I have to change the symbols, like if I want to go to the euro US dollar or maybe the dollar yen, I have to physically drag and drop the symbol onto the chart, and each chart has to be changed separately and updated separately as well. If I change the time frame on one and I go back into it, then I have to rechange it over and over again. It's just not really convenient. And I like to be able to go back and forth between full screen and not to, and I need to be able to reclaim and capture all this real estate without having to redraw all of my windows all the time. A lot of different things. So let's go into MT4Professional and then see what it's got going. First thing you should find is a window which allows you to select a configuration to start with. It's a blank screen and a blank chart layout, so you can choose from the ones that come up on the list. Now, these are all of the configurations that I've created. The ones that come with the system by default are under the presets category. So these are the alligator, the EMA and price, the MACD and signal, multiple colors. You've got multiple technical analysis, SMA cross with notifications, RSI reversals, price patterns. So you got a lot of good information ready to start with. The first thing that you would do would be to click the button right here to create your own custom configuration. Of course, that's after you've taken a look at each one of these to see how well they do, to see whether you like them or not. None of these can be edited, so you have to create your own configuration in order to have the edit button enabled. All these up here are ones that I've created. So once I click on one, let's see right there, then you see the edit button loads up. So I'm gonna go ahead and load it to show you what it looks like. The EMA price, this is a 3 time frame, in 5-minute, 15, and 30-minute. You can see automatically that the crosshairs are active on all of the time frames. So it automatically gives me both time and price alignment on all 3 time frames. And I can see not only the time, but the price at the exact same time to see where these setups are and to see if they're going to be in my favor or not. So that's instantly a plus for me. Second of all, if I go to full screen, notice how all the windows automatically redraw and fill the entire real estate just like that. So it's really a nice setup. I don't have to worry about redrawing it again. And third, notice the symbols. All I have to do is click on any symbol on my list, and you'll see that all of the symbols change to the symbol that I just clicked on. Okay. So it's really nice to have the flexibility and the ease of being able to do that. And if I were to go back into small mode, then you can see all my windows again redraw. So sweet. I really like that. So on this strategy, we're looking for price interacting with the 15-period exponential moving average. You can see I have another moving average on the screen here. Let me pull up my indicators to see which one that is. That looks like it's a 50-period simple moving average. And it looks like the 15 period right there is going to be interacting with that 50 period, either to be bullish or to be bearish. So click the select configuration button, go to your strategy and click the edit button. From here, we can see the setups that we can use for our charts. Now notice that I have 3 charts on the window, one large, the other 2 are smaller, but fitting in the same area. Notice that I have the same template set up here as well. I can change and drag these windows to be any size that I want and move them around. Left, if I want the big one on the right, then I can move it over on the right. I can set them up. Notice also I have a drop-down menu that allows me to select any time frame you have access to on MT4 or MT5. And you have a menu that allows you to add any of the templates you've already created on your MT4, MT5 platform. Now, these are templates, so that's what shows or tells the system how you want your charts to look. You don't want to have to recreate your chart every time. You make a template for it, and then once you click on the template, it'll automatically load in. So you tell it which template you want loaded, and it'll automatically create it for all of your charts, and it'll do it every single time. All right, so over on the left-hand side, you'll see the scanner panel. Now, over here is where you will configure your symbol list and your actual rules for changing the colors of the scanner itself. Now, we call them color rules. Let me go ahead and close that, move this out of the way so you can see it. We call them color rules because these colors can change based upon the specific rules you give it. And so if you have a strategy that gives you a bullish setup, then a color that represents that bullishness usually is green. And so if this were to change green, then that tells me I'm in a bullish setup. Red would be a bearish setup. If my longer time frames are green, but I have a red shorter time frame, then I could be in either a transition or a short-term correction that will likely return back to the longer-term trend. And so these are all great things, especially if you're a trend line trader, because this shows you that the particular trend line of the shorter time frame could be correcting and might be coming back in line with your longer time. So let's edit that again. Click on the scanner panel. If you click on the symbol list, then you can see all of the symbols that you have access to on your MT4 platform. Whatever broker that you have access to, you've got full access to those symbols. So select whatever symbols that you want over here on the left. Click the right arrow button and it'll add it to your list, or you can delete all of those and start over with a brand new list. And if you find ones that you've added you don't want, just simply remove it and make sure that you say OK when you're done to save your list. Next on the scanner panel is the actual scanner rules themselves. So what is it that causes the colors to change from red to green and do it so quickly? Well, those are called rules. The rules are based upon your own criteria, your strategies. So let's see what kind of logic that we need to input into the color rules in order to make that happen. You can see that there is a pull down menu for time frame. So you can apply your rule to any time frame and you define the rule right under the color rule section. The pull down menu shows that I have one color rule already defined. If I need more than one color rule, or if it is blank, then you can create a new color rule with the plus sign. The edit pad allows you to edit the selected color rule. When you do that, the configuration menu for the color rule configurator shows you the logic used for the strategy. The EMA and price strategy looks at the close of price relative to the 15-period exponential moving average. Here it's saying, I want to color the cell green if the price is greater than the 15-period. As further confirmation, I want to see that the 15-period EMA is greater than the 50-period simple moving average. So I want to see bullishness on both counts. If both this and this are true, the cell will be colored green. If one or the other of these are not true, then it will move over and execute this condition. That's the OR operator. So this or that. This is not good, then it goes to this one. Okay, so it looks at the closer price and checks to see if it's less than the EMA 15. And it's going to make sure that the 15-period EMA is less than the 50-period simple moving average. If these are true, the cell will be colored red. If neither of these two are true, then by default, the cell will be colored yellow because it'll test, fail, it will be colored yellow. A failure on both parts generally means the trade is not ready for a setup, and all you have to do is just sit back and wait for one or the other color to show itself. It's a state of indecision. That's all it is. So how do we get these? Well, these are just standard operators. You can see greater than or equal to, less than, and so forth. Those are standard, logical operators. The things you compare them to, you're saying the close of price. The close of price is like an indicator, and I have access to the close of price, the 15-period exponential moving average, and the 50-period. Now, if I need to add others, like say I wanted to look at the open of price rather than the close. Well, if I click the plus sign, choose an indicator, This could be any of the standard indicators on MT4Professional or MT5, or you can pick from any custom indicator that either you've created or that you've purchased from a third-party vendor. You can pick that from your computer as well. I'm going to be looking at price. One of these standard selections list shows you price. And then what on price do you want? Well, I want the open, because remember we were looking at whether the price was closed. Well, I want to see that the open of price is still valid. So I want to use this indicator. It pulls it up and it allows me to shift it if I need to. So if I want to look back in time, then it allows me to look back in time by making this shift value larger. 2 means 2 bars ago, 3 means 3 bars ago, and so forth. Click OK. And now you'll see that this has been changed to the open of price. But if you pull down your menu, you'll see that I have the close still there. So if I still want to keep the close greater than that, then now I can use this and pull up the open. And I can say I want that to be greater than my 15 period. Okay. It's just simple as that. If you happen to not want that setup anymore, if you see that it's just slowing it down and not really working, then just get rid of it by hitting the little trash can. Once you make all the changes that you want, then just simply click the OK button. If you have any loaded indicators that are on the list like this one, and it's not being used on any of the panels, once you close this and save it, then it will be deleted and it won't allow you to use it any after that. You'll have to reload it after you close it out. That's just because you're not using it. But if you're using it on any of your panels, then it'll always be there because it's saved and backed up in the cloud. That's the beauty of MT4Professional Scanner, is that the configurations are all backed up in the cloud, so you don't have to worry about losing any of your data, and all the setups and everything you put into it never get lost anywhere. Any questions so far? Now notice I have that same color rule applied to the 15-minute, also have it applied to the 30-minute chart. Those are the 3 time frames. If you want an additional time frame, just click the plus sign. Notice it automatically filled in an hour, but you can fill in any time frame that you're interested in doing. Color rule is blank, so I need to assign or create a new color rule. So I will assign it to the main color rule, and that's all you need. Now, if you have a setup like relative strength or some other indicator that you want to see the actual output of the indicator on the scanner itself, displayed here in the scanner columns of your spreadsheet, then right here, indicator to show needs to be filled in. So from here, you can select any indicator in the output of that indicator, and it will display the output value in the cell on the screen there. And if you want to give it a different name, by default, it will always go to the same name of the time frame, the heading. But if you want to give it a different heading name, then you can put that name here. So instead of using M30, you can say 30 MIN for 30 minutes or something a little bit more descriptive. That's up to you. We just left it there. Once the criteria is met, then all you have to do to turn it on, and you verified it, is by clicking the box right here to turn on real-time notifications. That'll enable the MT4, MT5 platform notifications to be enabled and start sending you information. And you can also verify your phone number in the members area of the MT4Professional website. And then you'll receive SMS messages as well. I recommend you don't do that on 1 minute or faster charts, because then you'll be getting a lot of SMS messages, and you're limited to those number of SMS messages that you can have each month. Any questions so far? All right. Notice that when I edit a scanner, on the bottom right-hand corner, there's a share icon. This is an icon that allows you to take whatever configuration that you've created and share it with all of your buddies, your trade professionals, or whatever you want to call the circle of friends or professionals that you work with. Everybody's on the same page. You just enter their email or their name, first and last name. First 3 letters is all you need. It'll go through and search the database to find them. And then once you find them, the name will appear on the list here. And then once you find the person that you are specifically looking for, then you can just simply click the share button and it will automatically share the currently loaded configuration with that individual. That was a simple configuration. Let's pull up one that involves a little bit more involved. Someone else wanted to see MACDs. So we'll load this one. This one is a MACD with a relative strength and a price and EMA interchange. So we're looking at 3 different charts here, a 4-hour, a daily, and a weekly, to find EMA and price, MACD, and relative strength. So that's a lot of information to take in all at once, but it's easy for a scanner. So let's look at the configuration of the scanner to see how it does it. Over on the right-hand side, you can see, again, I have 3 charts set up. The timeframes have been defined. The specific templates for each one are loaded. I happen to like the same template on all of them, but you don't have to have the same template. You can use any template that you want to use. Let's get right into the rules. Let's see how difficult this is. I have a color rule that's called a strong signal. I also have another color rule that's called a weekly trend. They're 2 different signals. I only have one turned on at any one time. You can have multiple ones turned on. The system doesn't care. You can be as detailed or simple as you like. So let's see what the strong signal rule set is. Now, the strong signal is looking at all 3 of my indicators. I'm looking at a MACD cross. I'm looking at the close of price being less than the 15 period, and I'm also looking at relative strength falling. Well, a falling relative strength is looking at a relative strength 2 bars ago relative to the current relative strength. That's a lot of relatives. So you're looking for a dropping or declining relative strength. Over here, you're looking for a rising relative strength. So you're looking at the previous relative strength 2 bars ago compared to the current relative strength. If it's less than it, then that means it's rising. And if you have a price greater than your EMA and your MACD histogram is greater than your signal line, you've got a great setup on the time frame that you're signaled on. Okay. So these are the specific conditions that we would use to generate a strong signal. How did I load the specific indicator? By clicking on the plus sign, you can go into the indicators themselves and choose the MACD moving averages. I think the MACD is under the oscillators. Yep, there it is right there. You can select it from this list here. If you use that indicator, then you can see you can change any of the parameters for the indicator here. Any type of price and what mode that you have in it, whether you're looking at the baseline indicator or if you're looking at the signal line. Now, I want to cancel this, but if you were to go and look here, you can see that the first one I'm looking at the base indicator, which is the white histogram that you see on the chart. I'm comparing that with the second item here, which is the signal line. So I had the same indicator loaded twice, the same instance of it loaded into the scanner 2 times, but one of them I set it to be the base indicator. The other one I set to the signal line. That gives us the ability to do active logical comparisons. And I don't have to worry about it. It does it for me. The same with price, the same with our moving average. I showed you how to load those earlier. Now, this was a little bit trickier, but what we're looking at here is relative strength 2 bars ago. So if you were to look at that configuration, then all it is a 14 period relative strength based on the close of price, but I'm looking 2 bars back. So I shifted the output. So it's looking at the cell, the frame, and it's looking back 2 bars to see what the value is. And it's going to take that value 2 bars ago and compare it to the current price. And if you were to look at that price, notice it's shifted. It's shifted the currently closed bar. Now, if you want to look at the live data, then put a 0 here, but know that that's current data, and current data can change every tick. So know that your output can also change with each tick too if you're using current data. So it's recommended that you use the most recently closed bar, which is identified as A1. On my weekly chart down here, notice that I have a different color rule. I have the weekly trend enabled, and the strong signal is not enabled. So I'm only looking to see whether it's in a long or short trend. So if we were to look at that, then all I'm doing is I'm looking at the close of price relative to my 15 period EMA. So if price is less than that 15 period, then it's going to be bearish. If it's greater than, then it's going to be bullish. That's all I'm looking for, is longer term trend. I want to be able to look over at my spreadsheet and glance through all of the operators to see a degree of bullishness or bearishness in the market. All right. I haven't seen any questions come across, so I'm going to go ahead and go back to my presentation and make you a very special offer for those of you who have stuck around with me for this long. MT4Professional is a full-featured platform for both MT4 and MT5. You get the entire software. There's no demos. I mean, it's not a reduced set just because it's in demo or anything. It's a full-featured MT4 platform. So you get to see everything. You get full access to our entire Skype community in the Skype chat room. You get unlimited configuration storage in the cloud, unlimited emails and push notifications, and up to 100 SMS notifications each month, absolutely free. Anything over that, if you use a lot more SMS notifications in a month and you need more, you can always purchase those in bundles, and contact us if you need to increase your monthly allotment of SMS notifications. And of course, all 14 pre-configured presets are all included. Total value is over $2,000, but you're not going to pay $2,000 for that. You know, we've set up a price for $194 a month as our standard price going out. But because you're part of our webinar today, I've taken 50% off of that. So $97 per month is the offering that we've given you for you guys today. You get 14 days to try the software absolutely free. Not a penny will come out of your credit card until after the 14-day trial is done. And then you'll be charged the $97 per month. But this $97 a month isn't just for 30 days. It doesn't go back to the normal rate after that. It doesn't go back after 3 months. It's a lifetime subscription discount. So you'll get the full 50% discount rate for the life of your subscription. If you cancel at any time, and you can, then the software will work until the end of the subscription period. It's a full length period. It's the same as the trial. You can cancel at any time during the 14-day trial, and you'll still get a full 14 days to try out software and to use it. But at the end of the 14 days, if you cancel, it goes away. And if you didn't cancel, then the charge will start and you'll just continue profiting from the platform. The link to get started today with your 14-day free trial is mt4professional.com/trial. Claudio has put that link on the chat box there for you to click on it for your convenience. Click on mt4professional.com/trial to get started today. You will get 14 days and $97, 50% discount right off the bat. So don't hesitate. Go ahead and get started to see how your strategies can be implemented in the platform today. If you need to contact us for any reason, need to put a ticket in, if you have a problem, then you can contact us at support@mt4professional.com. We'll be more than glad to get back to you within 24 hours or less with a detailed answer or more information to let you know the solutions for your question. Okay, there's one thing that I didn't show, and I would like to do that real quick, is that on the platform itself, you don't have to be limited by staying behind the platform all the time. If you want to go to lunch, if you want to go out for any reason, then you can take MT4Professional with you. So let me go ahead and get my browser up. Where's my browser? There's my browser. So if you navigate on your browser over to MT4Professional.com and you log into the members area, then you'll go into the main homepage of the MT4Professional site. Okay. Of course, this is where we help you get started. We walk you through the onboarding process, and we even provide you with custom one-on-one training to help you get going if you need it. You can download all the software from the main page, but what I want to point your attention to is the real-time scanner menu item on the top of the page of every part of your members area. If you click on that, then it takes you to the current scanner. Now, this is a real-time live scanner. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to select the account that I have running on my PC. Now, notice this is my mobile device. This is just a browser, so I could be on my phone. I could be on my tablet, my laptop, wherever I might be. Then I've got my mobile device with me, and I'm in the members area. So I'm going to pull up the account I have running on my computer back in my office, and it's automatically going to load for me the scanner list that I've got on the computer itself. Okay. So I don't have to worry about missing any opportunities or any trade setups. Also, if you notice under the small bell icon that you see next to your icon setup, then you'll see this is where you're notified of any system notifications or any trade setup notifications that may have triggered during your time away. So you can click on those and get up to speed right away with any type of trade setup that you might have. Notice I'm currently on the Euro US dollar. So if I see a particular trade setup, let me see if I see any. The CAD Swiss might be setting up. Click on that. Notice that it automatically changes to the CAD Swiss on my computer. And then it gives me a snapshot of the CAD Swiss right here on my mobile device. I want to see why this is currently a setup. You can see that it's currently in a downtrend, and the current fastest time frame is yellow. Well, that tells me, I can see here that I've already got a potential bullish setup, but price is still under my EMA. So I've got a really nice potential reversal going on here. I'm just looking for the second and third time frame now to start giving me that confirmation. So once I get confirmation of the price setup, then this bullish reversal might turn into a really nice trade setup for me to get into. So that's the idea behind that. You would have been alerted to that fact over here, and then you would have been able to see that trade setup and act on it. You don't have to run back to your office to do it. Just contact your broker on your mobile device and take the trade over your mobile device, because you've got all the technology behind you showing you only what you need to know to make the trade. So MT4Professional goes with you wherever you are. Now, notice the MT4Professional isn't running on your mobile device. It's running on your PC back in the office, but you're not back in the office. You're out at lunch with your girlfriend or your boyfriend, and you've got MT4Professional running right here on your charts. Or your wife or your husband, put it that way. So that's the nice thing about that. Also, if you need any setup or configurations. Then over here is your systems dialog. You can go in and modify your settings, look at the documentation, and so forth. The documentation can be pulled up right here. This is our knowledge base. This is where you'd go to get all the quick start videos, the installation information, and all of the configuration guides that we give for you. We even tell you and show you how to change your subscription plans, how to update your payment methods, or to unsubscribe and cancel your subscription at any time. It's all right here. All right, boy, that was a lot of information. Do you have any specific questions, or is there a specific trade strategy you've got that you'd like me to use in the next last remaining minutes that we have in our class today? Notice that someone wanted to look at some moving averages. Here's a moving average cross. This is a 513 simple moving average cross, where we're looking at 4 different time frames. I'm really only interested in the first 3, but the 4 hour is just mainly to look for the longer time frame setups. But I'm only scanning for active setups on the first 3. So whenever you see the red line cross over the blue, the red is the faster moving average, and the blue line is the slower moving average. So the slower moving average is a 13 period, and the faster moving average is your 5 period. Okay, so that's all you're looking for. So this is more of a scalping strategy than it is a longer trade setup. This is part of your standard trade setups, so you should be able to pull up the moving average crossover in the presets category for you. So let's look at the configuration for this. Go to the scanner and find out the rules that we used for that. You can see it's really simple. 5 period MA greater than a 13. If it is, green. If it's not, red. Neither, yellow. But that never occurs because it's always going to be red or green. And last but not least, I didn't show any custom indicators, but if you write your own software, you can use the outputs from those at any time as well. So I'm going to pull up one of my custom setups. From a platform that uses the Hawkeye software. So this is a trend following software that looks at trend using trend color and automatic trailing stop, momentum, and volume to show you strength or weakness. Now, if you see on the output of the scanner, it's actually scanning for all 3 indications. So within one time frame, I'm actually looking at 3 different categories. I'm looking for trend, volume, and heat map or momentum. Second time frame, I'm only looking at the momentum and the volume. The third time frame, I'm only looking at the volume. All 3, I'm looking at volume, but I'm only looking at them in specific time frames. So let's look at the setups for that. And before I do that, I want to pull up my data window because I want to show you something. So under View, Data Window, this is an important tool. So the data window is used so anytime that your mouse is on the screen and wherever it's located, then the output of whatever indicators are on that screen are displayed over here on this list. So you can see that the trend indicator is giving me a long, short, or neutral output on the chart. Now notice the long output is the only one that has a value, and that value is just the price position or the Y position for plotting the dot. But that's the information that I need to know, because I need to see if it's going to be green, if it's going to be red, or if it's going to be white. Green is long, red is short, and white is neutral or congestion. And that's all I need to know to test for it. So these are the three outputs of the indicator. And I need to tell MT4Professional which one of those. Excuse me, I just had to sneeze. I need to tell MT4Professional which one of those I want to use. So let's go into the configurator and tell it. So notice, look at all those symbols. I've got three different strategies going through different color rules, and I'm looking at each one of them individually. So let's look at the trend, because that was the first one we were looking at. I'm looking at the indicator, the Hawkeye trend. And let me pull this down to show you that. I'm looking at the output 1. Okay. That's the first column. And if you look at the output of the data, you've got output 1, output 2, output 3. I'm only looking at output 1. And I'm going to be checking and comparing that. Say, is output 1 greater than 0? So you can see that if the signal is not given, then the output is null. And we say that if it's null, it's actually equal to 0. You have a setting within the software that enables you to do that. So I'm looking at that output there. So if that indicator gives me a null indication, then I don't want it. I want it to be greater than that value, which is if there's an actual value there, it will be greater. So this will be true. So that's why the cell is colored green if it's in that specific location. It will be colored red if it were not. So right now, it looks like it's in a white state. So that tells me that the trend and stops indicator is white currently. And because it is, this is null, and the condition 3 is true, because that's the output 3. Output 3 is the neutral. See that? That's very, very basic. It might seem like it's not that easy to look at, but it's very minimal, and it's very basic if you look at the setups and how easy it is to set up and use. And that's the whole thing. I apply the trend color rule to any time frame. So I've got it set up on the 5, the 15, and the 30. And notice that I've got on the 5-minute, I have all three. I have my trend, the heat map, and volume all turned on. On the 15-minute chart, you can see I only have the heat map and volume. I don't care what the trend is on the longer term. I just really want to see what's going on behind the scenes. And then on the 30-minute, I really only want to see what volume is doing, because volume is really the only leading indicator. It shows the real demand in the market, which is demanding, and it always leads price. And so if you understand where that's going, then you know where you have a much higher probability chance of getting in front of that. So if this is telling you bullish, bearish, or neutral, that's telling you where the demand or supply wants to go. And that's why I have them set up the way that I do. Any questions? So that was a pretty complicated strategy, but you can see it was very simple because we're using MT4Professional. And by the way, notice how everything just went right back to the normal right after I was done with it. If you are interested in the Hawkeye software, then we've contacted Hawkeye to see if they're amenable to us, since we do show it a lot and I use it all the time. And I was one of the principals at the company. Then they've given us the ability to take the software at a really good discounted price. So Claudio has a link. I don't know if I forget last week if we were able to show it or not. But the link to get you a very good discounted price. I think it's a $97 one-time charge to for the volume module, and then that enables you to upgrade at the members rate to the full package. Now you see on the chart here is the full package, but let me pull up the volume. Oh, sorry, this one. I think I've got the volume one set up as well. Yeah, there it is. The volume setup is just pure price with the bars colored the same color as volume. You have the volume indicator on the bottom showing the bullish intent, the bearish, and the neutral intent. So you can see on any trend where the real bullishness is and where the real bearishness is, and the magnitude relative to that. So on price, it really helps you to see, especially when you see all the buying right down here at the bottom, showing you that demand has really come in. And then you see price trying to get back down there, and it's just halted. Notice that it never goes back below the that key pivot point. All right, so those are strength positions, and that shows you that this not only is an excellent setup for an entry, but that you want to start loading up, because this bar shows you that this is an area where buyers are sitting, and when price tries to get down into the area, notice all the closes are right there in the same location. You get the extremes, but nobody's crossing over that line. So that's a great strategy to start looking for. You do the same thing. These are green bottoms. You do the same thing for the tops. You look for these red tops to identify the key reversal areas. Now, this is not a key reversal, but it is a hook. So when you see a big green up and a big red down, that's a hook. A hook is a very good corrective or reversal signal to identify and to get inside there. So anyway, thank you for your time. We've run out of time for today, but MT4 Professional is available. So click on the link mt4professional.com/trial to get started on your trial today. 14 days to try it out for yourself to see if your strategy works. 14 days is a long time to use it. So you should be able to get some good results. If you like it, just keep it. Let us know if there's anything we can change or update on it. We're putting out updates regularly on our software. So thank you very much for your patronage and for being with us throughout this. We've been here in the trading business for many years already. So thank you for helping make MT4 Professional the #1 scanner in the market. Again, mt4professional.com/trial. You can always contact us at support@mt4professional.com if you have any questions whatsoever, or if you have any issues on getting your software going, then set up a one-on-one session with us to get you going and to help you get started. Thank you very much for your time and attention. It's been great. My name is Randy Lindsay, signing off. We'll see you in about 2 weeks. Bye for now.